Joyce Braga, what's the scoop this week?
The scoop this week is a 3-for-1 special, John.
3 for 1?
Yes, I've got a 3-part story from GM.
What's the first part?
The first part is the Pontiac P car, which we talked about last year. Well, we've seen the car called the Fiero since then, and it lives up to its name. If you remember, Fiero means proud in Italian, and it is. The prototypes indicated that it was going to look a lot like the X19, and it does. If you take a look at these photos, it's very snappy styling. It's a 2-seater with a mid-engine and a fiberglass body. It's going to be about 160 to 165 inches long. Now that's a little larger than the Fiat, but it's more rounded.
Anything that sleek surely needs a powerhouse.
I agree, but you're not going to get exactly a powerhouse. But that lightweight design makes the car very responsive. Now the engine is a 2.5-liter 4-cylinder throttle body fuel-injected engine. The manual 4-speed transaxle, that's standard. An automatic 3-speed option is also available. Now by 1985 we should see a V6 and a 5-speed, and that's going to be impressive performance. The prototype I saw had a very conventional interior, much like the Firebird. Now there is an upscale interior package available, and that's going to give you those nice Recaro-like seats. The other thing Pontiac is going to do is they're going to go with conventional upper and lower control arms up front and modified McPherson struts in the back. Now this car is going to come out the last week of September '83, and the price is going to be very competitive, $8,500 to $9,000.
Well, the Fiero is exciting, but what do you have for part 2?
Part 2 are spy photos of a much more conservative car. This is that long-awaited front-wheel drive mid-size A-Wagon from GM. Now our spy photos are of the final prototype of the old Sierra version. Now that shows styling very similar to the Cutlass Supreme rear-drive wagon it replaces. You have an option of the 4- or 6-cylinder gas engine or a V6 diesel. Now for fuel economy and aerodynamics, they've sloped that rear hatch a little bit, which gives you plenty of room for 7 passengers and a jump seat for the small fry.
Well, how many versions are they going to have?
Well, in addition to that Oldsmobile, there'll be a Chevy Celebrity, a Buick Century, and a Pontiac 6000.
GM is working hard. What's part 3?
Part 3 is the Hush Hush N-Car.
N-Car. Haven't heard of that one.
Well, as you know, GM was last seen planning to phase out those X-body cars. They wanted a car that fit neatly in between the A and the J bodies, but based on a J body. Well, that's the 1985 N-Car. And as you can see from these photos of a very early test mule, it's a 2-door coupe, and this replaces the personal cars, the Regal and the Grand Prix. Now, it's still not clear if Chevy or Olds is going to get a version to replace their Monte Carlo and Cutlass Supreme. Now, the scuttlebutt here is that the N-Car has a 103-inch wheelbase, and it'll have a 4- and a 6-cylinder engine. Initially, they're only going to build a 2-door coupe with front-wheel drive. Now the hot tip.
Okay.
I have heard that Cadillac might replace their smaller Cimarron with this N-Car.
Another small front-wheel drive Caddy.
Yes.
Interesting. Well, thanks, Joyce, and keep us up to date on any new developments.
I will.